Now to talk about it, Dr. Scott Hadlin, who's the Chief of Adolescent Medicine at Mass General for Children. Dr. Hadlin, thanks for your time. We're sorry it's under these circumstances. You just heard the police chief there. He said that this type of tragedy traumatizes everybody, frankly, for the rest of their life, even those who weren't physically injured. Is that one of your top concerns right now?
Yeah, it really is. And, first thing I have to say is, I'm here as a pediatrician right now, but of course I'm also a dad of a 6-year-old and a 4-year-old, and there's so many parents and adults feeling a lot of pain right now. And so I just want to acknowledge that. We worry so much about the kids that survive an incident like this. They have short-term, medium-term, and long-term effects. So some of the short-term effects are that, right now kids are going to be coming home and they're going to be experiencing fear, anxiety. They might be numb with shock. In the days and weeks to come, kids are going to be expected to go back to school, and it's going to be really difficult for kids to concentrate, to focus, and learning is going to be really challenging. And then in the long term, we know that these mass shootings and school shootings are associated with long-term risk for post-traumatic stress disorder, depression, anxiety, substance use and addiction. And so we really need to be thinking about the ways in which we're going to be supporting kids in this community and so many others that have been impacted.
Absolutely. Many parents say they don't know how to prevent these incidents from happening again, having to have these conversations with their kids again. What's your advice?
Yeah, I feel that same pain as a parent. I worry about that a lot, that you can feel powerless. Actually, it turns out that just yesterday I was out west in Nevada teaching a course to more than 500 pediatricians, and the topic was, how do we talk to parents about what they can do to prevent things like this from happening? And there are things that parents can do. I would say the first thing that parents can do today to help themselves feel empowered is actually to have a conversation with their kids, to ask their kids what they know about what happened today and provide simple facts to help fill in the facts for kids, and then also to provide them some reassurance. That can help parents sort of feel back in charge and empowered, like they can support their families. But then there's other things that are real tangible that parents can do. And so, reporting suggests that this was a teenage shooter that was a student at the school, and many teenage shooters have red flags that parents and other community members can identify, right? They might be struggling in certain ways, they might become increasingly withdrawn, they may have threats of violence that have started to emerge, or they may have a history of violence, and parents should partner with schools and local authorities to report those individuals so that they can get the support that they need. I would say the other thing that's really important is that many school shooters, we don't know the source of the gun from today's shooting, but many school shooters get their firearm from the home. And so it's really important that parents keep firearms locked up in a way where teens can't get them, and then also to make sure that they store their ammo separately and that those guns that are locked away are unloaded.
And of course, we hope this type of tragedy won't happen here. But what does your hospital do to get ready?
My own hospital, Massachusetts General Hospital, is ready for events like this, and hospitals throughout Boston and throughout the country have protocols in place. I actually happened to be working in 2013 on the day of the Boston Marathon bombing, and I saw as our hospitals rallied and came together. They have protocols to address catastrophes, to make sure that they have the capacity to take on as many patients as may be needed in an event like this when there's a lot of people who are being harmed. Of course, a lot of this is the frontline work in the emergency departments, in our operating rooms, but also recognize that behind the scenes and in the time that comes, pediatricians like me and so many others are really poised and ready to help support families through the pain that comes afterwards, and that so many of us are working tirelessly behind the scenes to try to prevent this from happening again so we can protect our kids, our families, and our communities.
Absolutely. Well, Dr. Hadlin, we really appreciate you as always coming in to talk about this. Hopefully we don't have to talk about this again, this topic, but
thank you.
Really appreciate your time as always.